Hi, a little intro on my horse Ace. We got him from the Napa Mustang Days auction and Mustang sale that they have every few years. We got him when he was 2, and he is now about 3.5. So we've had him for going on 2 years. Up until this video, we had worked a lot on trust building, a lot of on groundwork, and just him learning to trust us and us learning to trust him. I had just come back from the Tim Hayes clinic, horsemanship clinic, and so I'd been working with him for consistently for every day almost for at least like a half hour or so. And he was doing really well. We'd been riding him a few times, just the basics, but I really wanted to work for this assignment a lot on just our groundwork and learning each other, but also learning how to work with him, but also with me being the alpha and not him. So I worked a lot with the Pirelli games and some of the exercises and skills that Tim Hayes taught me. And yeah, he was doing really well. We were working almost every day, which was great. And yeah, so that's kind of an intro to the first section of our video. Alright, so here we are working on the friendly game. We've done this a lot with him just to get him used to us, allowing us to touch him anywhere and with a lot of different tools. Right now we're just using our hands to feel him and getting him used to being touched and handled. Now I'm using the rope just as something different to get used to having the rope or other things touch him. And go on both sides. He's done really well with the friendly game. He doesn't mind being touched in his ears or his forehead. He actually enjoys having his ears scratched sometimes. Now still continuing with the friendly game, but using different tools. So right now the rope's getting wrapped around his feet and over his back, under his belly. He's also done really well with the ropes being around him, being kind of swung around him, or swung around his legs and wrapped around. He's aware of it. He's not exactly sure how he feels about it. A little bit nervous, trying to walk away from it. So at least we stopped when he stopped trying to pull away and started relaxing a little bit. Here we're trying to do a little bit of the porcupine we've been working on, and giving his front shoulders to me. a little bit better than the other. Not exactly wanting to give way to me. There we go, and there was the release. A little bit of rubbing, letting him know he did a good job. With Ace, I've determined that he is predominantly an RBI horse, so there's a lot of repetition, getting him to learn and be okay and do some of these skills because he's learned them and enjoys them and not out of fear. So there's a lot of repetition with him. Now we're doing some porcupine pressure on the body, on his back end. Okay, get away another step, so let him know you did a good job. His back end has tended to be easier, or he is more willing to give me and move his back end than his front end. A little step there. Working on the 4 levels of pressure. He sometimes still likes to keep going all the way around till his head is facing us. Okay, I'm doing a little bit of the pressure to getting him to back up, just light pressure on his nose to start. He does this exceptionally well. My initial concern on this one was that he was doing it out of fear, but I know that he also likes me and lets me touch his face, so I didn't think it was out of fear. Here's a little bit of pressure in their space, getting him to back away. A little bit more. Just getting in his area, in his space, and having him step away. And trying to get him to come back in. Now I'm going to try and do a little bit of having him give me his neck and move his hind ends. With a little bit of pressure. Trying it on the other side. Working on his spin a little bit and ending with him facing me. And a good rub down because he did a good job. So my initial plan and goal for this video project was to work with Ace and have him be ready to hopefully submit our last segment to the Pirelli certification for level 1. I had to have surgery. So that set me off a little bit in terms of time that I was able to spend with him. So I kind of changed my plan also. During this video, the second session, which is coming up after this, there had been a span of about a month and a half that I didn't really get to do much of anything with him. not even really work on groundwork. I had to recover, and it took a little bit longer than I had planned. But it showed me the key importance of how important it is to be consistent with your horses, to be working with them a lot. And, just because they learn it one day, you have to keep coming back and working with them again, especially with him being more of a RBI horse. I've determined with him especially, consistency truly is key with getting him to continue and to progress. Some things he retained really well over the time. Others, we were starting back at ground zero. But yeah, so that was I made a transition from going towards Pirelli level 1 certification with him to just working on making progress, and still hopefully pushing forward towards a Pirelli level 1. But at this point, it's just being more consistent and getting him, our relationship, to get a little stronger first. So this had been about a month and a half after my surgery. And again, we're starting off with some friendly game, just having him let me touch him and pet him and rub him all over. We're out in a larger open area than we were for the first video. This is one of the first times that he was out there in that area also. With some more room to move around. And working with him and swinging the ropes around, wanting him to feel comfortable. I need to work on my throwing of the roping skills. There is a kind of a weighted handle at the end of that rope, so I wanted to see how he'd react with kind of having something bump him at the end of the rope. And he seemed a lot better with that rope swing that time. So again, working on porcupine, having him give into the pressure. This time around, he was wanting to move forward a little bit more. I want to continue working with him to see if it was based off of my body position. I also noticed that I didn't do both hands. I was just putting pressure just on his shoulder instead of trying to do his shoulder and his neck. distracted with. Kind of leaned into me instead, so it kept the pressure on him. And there we go, and there was a release.
Oh.
Work on the back end, having him just move it based off of my look towards his back hip. Seeing how he would do on whether I needed to go through the different phases. Working on the release of his neck and his hind end without putting pressure or actually touching him, just with putting pressure on his space. I started with a little bit of pressure, but then once he got going, he was able to keep doing the turn.
That's good. How long is that?
So going into the third video, it'd been another couple weeks in between backing up, maybe only about a week yo-yo game, but unfortunately with the time change and some weather, it was harder in the evenings to spend some time with him. But phase 1, we wanted to get the work in and spend some time working with him still on a lot of the same
phase 3
games and hoping to progress a little bit further, possibly to starting the circling game, especially since it was out in an open area and not in a round pen where he has lunged before.
Phase 2.
So I was excited going into it with my goals in mind, but also remembering that I needed to kind of just go at his pace still, and not push him too far, and take my time and be happy with a little steps of progress that I could get. Asked him to do a few more steps than just the one. So again, I'm starting off with some of the friendly game, getting him used to being pet and touched everywhere and being okay with me being around him. It was a windier day today, or the day of this video, and we had a break in the storm. So I was interested to see how well he'd be able to still focus, or how much distraction would be brought about by the wind and the smells and the rain. I'm still okay with the ropes being thrown onto him. Swinging the rope. He got a little nervous, so I let him have his time and then allowed him to want to take a step back towards me and be okay with it. Doing it again on the other side. Backing up a little bit. I don't want him to be scared of it. I'm having some issues with the rope. Again, he backed up a little bit. Wanted him to relax a little bit more. See if he allowed me to take a step towards him and be okay with the rope swinging around. And some rubs. Moving him out of the way. So again, working on porcupine, and that time he backed up a little bit more. I think that was partly my body positioning, but he's still, there you go. He wasn't wanting to give me his shoulder, give me lateral flexion of his shoulder. Having some difficulties with the lateral flexion of the shoulders, or getting him to move or disengage his shoulders. Reward the little steps. And then go yo-yo, getting him back up. Does fairly well with at phase 2. Phase 1, phase 2, it's getting much better. He wasn't wanting to come in all the way. Trying backing up, there we go, phase 1, and he took a step. That was an exciting moment for me. So we've worked on getting him used to other objects. This pom-pom, he decided he wanted to try and eat, play with it, which I guess I can say is a good thing that he's not scared of it. Not exactly what I had in mind for him to do, but doing a little bit of the friendly game with it again, just to get him used to feeling it all over. Going to the other side. So overall, and I'm using this tool today because I noticed that he did make progress, which that was my ultimate goal with him, is to continually make progress. First time for him being out in the open, try new things a few times, see how he does in the round. He did okay with the circling. So we definitely have some work to do in the right position. I was very excited in terms of our backing up that I was consistently being able to get him to back up between phases 1 and 2, and stop when I turn away and come back towards his hip. I am continuing to work with him on the different belly games, some of those other skills and phase 1, activities phase 2 of pressure that Tim Hayes taught me as well. We need to do some work on try to get him a little bit more. Me being the alpha, I know that at times he's tests me, he pushes me a little bit. See if I'll make him move, but I think our relationship it's coming along. I'm very excited. Better, more phase 1 for the trust and the bond that he and I we share. Getting him to turn towards me. It's a work in progress every day, and like I said before, consistency has been trying to get the biggest phase 2. Or sorry, go the other direction. Component of my making any more towards me than I wanted. I think that can go with any horse areas to work on, no matter what their personality is. But in particular, with him being an RBI and being a wild Mustang, it's just going to it takes more time. But he is quite different from our other Mustang, who is turn and face up towards me, a polar opposite of him. But it's been a lot of fun and a great learning experience for myself, and I am super excited to keep working with him and to hopefully be able to add a 4th video to this at some point and have that be our level 1 certification video. So I hope you have enjoyed it. And I am super excited for the progress and that I hope to continue to make, and all the for the first different skills that I'm learning and all that I'm learning about myself as well with working with my amazing horse.